Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Fred Warner, linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers. Abercrombie has the new suits you need, plus all the collared shirts to go with them. The Abercrombie & Fitch Collins suit is the only suit you'll ever need for any occasion. Available in slim, classic, and athletic. Pair with a collared classic. Go with a soft, easy-to-wear sweater polo or a comfortable long-sleeve shirt. With so many different fits and fabrics, you can make a look that's completely your own. Add the Abercrombie & Fitch Collins suit and new collared shirts to every occasion this season. Shop online or in store.
In Las Vegas, news can make national, even international headlines just because it happened here. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're going to break down some of our infamous city's most viral moments with the Beverly Theater's Chief Experience Officer, Kip Kelly, and my co-host, Sarah Lohman. It's Tuesday, March 18th. I'm Dayvid Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. So I'm going to kick this off, y'all, by perhaps Las Vegas's first viral video ever. And that happened on basically New Year's Eve, December 31st, 1967. It was Evel Knievel not clearing the fountains at Caesar's Palace. And that film, that little clip of Evel Knievel with Caesar's Palace in the background, just biting it at the end, became a mainstay in ABC Sports forever and synonymous with the agony of defeat right here in Las Vegas. And I think that kicked off the world's obsession with anything weird that happens in our city. What do y'all think about that?
I mean, that's not even viral video. That's viral film.
Viral film.
Yeah, I feel like I remember 1969 people strongly using that word viral in their day-to-day life. And everybody the next day talking about the viral video of Evel Knievel.
Well, I think that film, though, that film had legs. Still does.
I appreciate the depth and the resourcefulness and the crate in which you dug that out of, because it is certainly a clip. I will just say, I was there when Travis Pastrana recreated that jump. I think it was in 2018, and he nailed it. So shout out Travis. Same bike too. He didn't go the souped up motocross bike. He did the same bike. So not to say Evel, wasn't spectacular, but yeah, that is a very hardcore video to watch if you're anybody. Really.
Yeah, for sure. But he did come back, and now we celebrate him. In fact, we have Evel Pie Pizza, and there's soon to be an Evel Knievel Museum here in Las Vegas. So all because of the moment that went wide.
Well deserved.
So let me pose it to you, because you're our guest. What is your favorite story when Las Vegas went viral?
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll start with my favorite one, and I'm hoping I'm not stepping on anybody here, because I do have a couple. I think my favorite viral moment in Las Vegas history is the Storm Area 51 Facebook page.
Oh,
What?
God. I only was recently aware of this.
This is
It's
off my
memeable,
radar.
for sure.
I am wrapped. Please continue, Kip Kelly.
Different generation, David.
Yeah, I forget the year. I think it was 2021. I have so many dates in my head. I'm sorry. I actually had this written down somewhere. A gentleman who doesn't even live in the state started a Facebook group, and the title of it was Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us.
Yes, I remember this. Okay.
And I think the brevity and the simplicity of it, and the fact that it was still kind of in an innocent time where you could just have fun with words on the internet, and things would react. People would react to them. Anyway, the thing got shared millions of times. It went national. It went international. Obviously, it had everybody signed up to meet at Area 51 on September 20th, I think, of that year was the date.
Was it 2019? I think Layla,
maybe it was
our
2019.
Producer. Yeah.
Okay.
So pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic. Also makes it even more innocent, I guess, because it was kind of, it was
Different
before
time.
that line of delineation. But everybody was going to storm Area 51 on September 20th, 2019, simply because he put up a Facebook event invite, and millions of people signed up for it. Of course, it didn't lead to anybody storming it. I think they tried to turn it into... People showed up. It turned into like an alien fest, I think. They tried to do a music festival, which never really got off the ground. But people showed up. They had a good time. It was innocent. It was fun. And, with just those little handful of words to reach so many people, to me, is probably my favorite viral Vegas moment.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
how about you, Sarah?
Definitely a very famous meme at this point with the Naruto runner in the background. Kip, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yep. But I've been on the tour of the nuclear test site, and Area 51. It is way in the back. He would have to Naruto run for miles.
Yeah.
Miles. It is not easy. You can't just access it from the front door. It is way back there. Yeah.
I don't think he had the logistics.
Well, you're going to get shot down with alien lasers that they've incorporated.
Before you
even get it. They'll disintegrate you a la Mars Attacks.
For sure.
Yeah. Logistics had not been thought of entirely. And in fact, I don't think that he spent more than 3 minutes coming up with this idea.
No thoughts, just vibes.
Yeah, just vibes, and authentic vibes at that.
All right, Sarah, jump in.
Well, is it too misandrous of me to say, speaking of white guys doing stupid things,
Nah.
do you remember when those guys pushed those rocks around on Lake Mead? This happened a number of years ago. But yeah, a group of 30-somethings went to Lake Mead National Recreation Area and pushed around some million-year-old rock formations. Super destructive. This was, the second or third in a couple incidents in a lot of our national parks. It's just these videos you watch like, why? What is happening?
Right.
Why are we doing this? But yeah, I revisited that video and just rolled my eyes so far back in my head that I pulled a muscle.
Well, that's a subcategory of viral moments of Vegas is mostly dudes behaving badly in public spaces.
They were locals, too.
Yeah. Well,
that's what surprised me. I thought they were tourists. They're from Henderson.
Well, I'm going to add them to the guys who threw beer cans in the Devil's Hole, the
oh, my God.
over at, was it Paragat?
In the Amargosa Valley?
In the Amargosa Valley,
yeah.
The pupfish. The pupfish, where the devil pupfish is the only place on Earth that they live, and they contaminated. They went to jail. And then there's the guys who killed the flamingo at the Flamingo Hotel. They killed live flamingos. Yeah, it was a law student. I think he fought to try to get his ability to become a lawyer back because of that. Yeah, a lot of that.
Oh my God. What? Explain your gender right now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm not defending killing flamingos at the Flamingo. Come on,
one
Sarah.
one of my bigger pet peeves too is the tourists that come and do these things. Unfortunately, some of these stories are just our own knucklehead people that live here who want to do some. That's the thing that's probably most disappointing to me.
Is it because of Vegas being Vegas that there's just so many opportunities for these only in Vegas sort of stories to occur, especially, these mishappy stories?
I think we have a tendency to draw that. And I'll just throw it out, and I won't put it on my official list. And the guy who came into the Palms buffet and just started loading up on lobster and crab for his TikTok clout, and got banned from every buffet in the city, and just came to town because he wanted to film himself taking as much lobster and crab as he could from the Palms buffet for $50, and he was just throwing it away. He was taking it and he was throwing it away. And he was taking it and he was throwing it away. His name was Mr. Lewis, or total clown. But for his channel, for his content, for his clout, he came to Vegas for that. And I certainly think we have the ability to attract those clowns.
The first ever TEDx Las Vegas event is happening on April 5th at the Keep Memory Alive Event Center in downtown Las Vegas. TEDx Las Vegas is more than a local event, it's a global platform. After the talks, they're shared with 42 million subscribers worldwide on the official TEDx YouTube channel. Speakers this time will include an Olympic gold medalist, a former member of the Raiders, a filmmaker, a restaurateur, a climate scientist, educators, performers, and more. Personally, I'm excited to see poets and community activists Rodney Lee and Elizabeth Allen Berry, as well as Neon Museum Executive Director Aaron Berger. Tickets start at $150 for general admission and $250 for VIP, which includes priority seating, a commemorative gift, and entry to a dine-around dinner post-event. Limited tickets remain, so grab yours at www.tedxlasvegas.org/tickets.
This episode is sponsored by Babbel. Are you holding back on foreign travel plans this year because you're afraid of the language gap? I'm not, because I have Babbel. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I'm learning Spanish on Babbel, getting ready for a trip to Mexico City. Babbel is the language learning app that gets you talking. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons, handcrafted by over 200 language experts, get you to begin speaking your new language in 3 weeks or at whatever pace you choose. Babbel's tips and tools are inspired by the real-life stuff you actually need when communicating. With a focus on conversation, you'll be ready to talk wherever you go. Babbel has given me great lessons on getting directions, ordering in a restaurant, and making plans. And of all the things I'm doing in Mexico City, I'm probably most excited about the soccer game we're going to. So I was excited to learn how to cheer from Babbel. That'll be me you'll hear yelling, "Fuerza Tigres! Fuerza Tigres!" With over 16 million subscriptions sold, Babbel's 14 award-winning language courses are backed by a 20-day money-back guarantee. Let's get more of you talking in a new language. Babbel is gifting our listeners 60% off subscriptions at babbel.com/citycast. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/citycast. Spelled BABBEL.com/citycast. Babbel.com/citycast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
I want to take everyone back to 2018 and what was billed as a big announcement outside of Park MGM and their new theater. And it starred Britney Spears and her announcement for her new residency, which was going to take place at the theater there at Park MGM. Now, this speaks to when people still thought they could have control over viral moments to some extent. And it was live streamed on Ellen's YouTube page, which if everyone's remember, if you went viral during Ellen's time, you could guarantee you were going to end up on her set at some point. And she was kind of ahead of the game with YouTube a little bit in terms of live streaming and using that channel as a way to reach new audiences. So 2018, Britney Spears has a big announcement. They're outside of the theater hyping it up for about 28 minutes. I think her correspondent, I forget his name at the time, was in charge of kind of rallying the crowd and playing music. Britney Spears appears out of nowhere. Something is projected onto the building, which I think was Domination, which was the name of her new residency that she was she was there to announce. And I think we were all expecting some words or a performance or hi, my name is Britney and welcome to my new. But what she did was she walked right across the stage and she got into an Escalade and just kind of drove off and
good night.
Good night. And the residency never happened. And so I never kind of circled back on that. It was a stunt for sure. To be sure, it was certainly a planned, produced stunt, but it included an online community in an attempt to go viral, and it certainly did, but for the wrong reasons, I think, for sure.
Yeah. What other ones do you have on your list, Sarah?
Okay, totally different direction. But when we were on the national political stage, so in June, that was the first time that Trump announced his idea of ending gratuity taxes on tips, no taxes on tips.
Oh, yeah, that happened here.
Yeah, that happened here, because, of course, the politicians want to appeal to culinary, our extremely strong union. You got to get them on your side. Of course, no idea if this is something he discussed with anybody who advises him beforehand, or if it's just something that came vomiting out of his mouth. However, It had ripples. It had ramifications, right? Because at first the Dems reacted by saying, you can't do that. That's stupid. And then it was like, no, people are actually on board with this. People want ways to ease taxes on the middle class. And so the Harris campaign had to then copy and create an actual proposal based around this idea of no taxes on tips.
Yeah, I feel like that campaign really just started to mimic that of a seventh grader running for student council. You want free vending machines? Sure. You want free breakfast? Yep. Sure. You want chocolate milk? I can give that to you. You want to make
a river of chocolate milk to everyone who votes for me. I don't want to leave politics, though, because I just thought of another viral moment for Las Vegas on the national scene. Sarah, you're going to love this one.
Huh?
Mayor Carolyn Goodman talking with Anderson Cooper.
This is the downside of traveling as much as I do, because I have to hear about this. Does Vegas still have that mayor? And first of all, how do you even explain that I don't actually live in Las Vegas and she's not my mayor?
Right.
Well, you live in Henderson, just for people who aren't following every episode here. Yeah.
Who are following me to my car at night. Just kidding.
So, Sarah, can you do a quick explanation of what that moment was? We have talked about it on the podcast before, but for those who aren't aware of this interview, this notorious viral interview between Anderson Cooper and Mayor Goodman.
Basically, the idea is that Vegas and Paradise were flailing because a whole economy revolves around the tourist industry, as well as like all of our state-funded everythings. So we were desperate for people to come early in pandemic. So as opposed to ultimately our casinos shutting down as they should have, Goodman proposed that we, I don't know what, like create herd immunity by inviting everyone to Vegas to get COVID.
Yeah, we were the nominated test incubators on behalf of the mayor of Las Vegas, who didn't represent at the time most of the hospitality workers that she was volunteering up. But, I've always said Vegas was the most vulnerable and the least prepared during that time. And
Totally.
Just based on our economy and the things, the phases, phase 7, phase 9, well, what phase are we on? But every phase was like, doesn't matter because we have restaurants and we have casinos and we have nightclubs and that's what we do here. So everyone was trying to figure out what to do. And unfortunately, at the time, the mayor of Las Vegas volunteered us to be the beaker.
There were a lot of stories coming out of Vegas during the pandemic, initial pandemic phase. And I think the reason that one first of all, it was only supposed to be like a 5-minute interview, like, hey, Mayor, what are your thoughts? And she said some things that Anderson Cooper didn't fully understand. I think what she was trying to say is, boy, I wish there was a way we could do it where we could stay open. I have lots of thoughts, and I think we probably should if we can. And Anderson Cooper's like, you're the mayor. Why are you suggesting that? And
wait, you were like taking Anderson Cooper's side on this? I know it's been like dug up again because now that Goodman's out of office,
they were having.
She's like, it's Cooper's fault. It's a mess. No.
I rewatched it. They were having two very different conversations, but I understand why it went so crazy because she just started laughing at him, and he basically said that's a very unintelligent way to think about this. And she took offense, and they started like kind of nipping at each other. That's kind of why that one went viral. But let's talk about some fun viral. I mean, because it's always when something goes horribly awry, that makes the news. But what about some more fun or interesting where no one really got hurt viral moments? You guys got any for me on that?
My last one is only not fun and hurtful. Sorry.
Ouch. How about you, Kip?
You know what? I'm going to bring one. I had some. I'm going to throw out the showgirls of Caesar's Palace marching down the strip with signs that say no resort fees. I'm going to throw that out because that was a fun campaign that I had some friends work on, and I was not a part of it. And I'd like to rib them a bit. But at the time, everybody, mostly MGM, had rolled out resort fees, first of their kind in Las Vegas. And Caesar's leadership at the time, I think universally agreed with the sentiment of the public, which was resort fees are silly. Why would we pay more money to stay where we're already paying you money? So they took a hard stance against it. They shut down the strip. They did this whole campaign.
What year was this about?
I gotta say it was 2015 or 2016.
Now resort fees are being banned.
Well, they're being required to be more fully disclosed, more transparent.
Well, more disclosed and just increased by every day while we're trying to figure out how to disclose them. So anyway, that was just a fun moment. If you go look, there's some fun to be had with that because obviously Caesar shortly after scrapped that idea and said, yeah, we're all in on resort fees too. So
no one's going to stand up, right?
Yeah.
Another fun one, and I can't believe this was only 2 years ago, but the very first really big local Keith Lee food influencer video that got millions and millions and millions of views was his sort of like, I was invited by a worker at Frankenson's Pizzeria. It was a family-owned place. They're struggling. They talked to a food influencer who wanted to charge them a huge sum of money to help them out. Will you just come here and check it out, Keith? And Keith did that video. It was so earnest that, I understand he's being attributed to saving that business, but also his star just shot from that moment, bringing a lot of light to a lot of little Vegas restaurants. I mean, that was only January 2023.
Wow. I wasn't aware of that.
You know who I'm talking about, Keith Lee, right? Sarah, I'm not like, you don't know who Keith Lee is?
No, I'm sorry, Keith Lee. I'd love to meet you.
I mean, Keith Lee is like literally the biggest food influencer in the world right now.
I write books.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hi, this is Javon, your Blinds.com design consultant.
Oh, wow. A real person.
Yep. I'm here to help with everything from selecting the perfect window treatments to...
Well, I've got a complicated project.
No problem. I can even help schedule a professional measure and install. We can also send you samples fast and free.
I just might have to do more.
Whatever you need.
So the first room we're looking at is for...
Shop Blinds.com now and save up to 45% site-wide. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Campfire season's back, and that means s'mores. But when you're at home treating yourself, take them over ice with Dunkin's S'mores Cold Brew Concentrate. And suddenly you're always treating yourself. The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be. Click or tap the banner to shop now.
I think that a lot of people will attribute Keith Lee and that particular video to the boom of food influencers here in Las Vegas, to the point where people are putting out the most obvious videos now in Las Vegas, and they're getting 3, 4, 5 million views. I just saw earlier this year, there's a report that came out of Newsweek magazine about somebody who was walking down the strip and said, hey, y'all, you should know, that building looks like it's 5 minutes away. It's like 50 minutes away. And that got like 5 million views. Like things just go viral. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
Was the building 50 minutes away?
It was, because the strip is very deceptive on how close things are, but also like there are no direct paths, on the sidewalk. Often you have to like start going up and over bridges and all that sort of thing. But like it seems as though someone can just be on the strip, say the most obvious thing, and it goes viral. Why is that about our city?
We're a very cliche town. And we deserve it to some extent. I mean, we still lean heavily into some of the things, like you don't see Elvis anywhere on the strip, but he's still very much associated with Las Vegas. We have a lot of cliches, and for some reason they don't die. They multiply. I don't know. The internet also just recycles things continuously as well. And so you could say some of the most obvious things, and people do relate to those. For that one time they were in Las Vegas last year, and they say, oh yeah, I had the same experience. And I don't know, I guess you could see that 50 or 60 times in your feed and not get sick of it.
I don't
if you
know.
live here,
I mean,
it becomes a little more frustrating.
There was once a time when a white tiger had to bite a entertainer, or Mike Tyson had to bite his opponent's ear over at the MGM Grand Garden for it to be talked about and seen so many times. But I guess the times they are a-changing. But Sarah, I know you have one last viral moment that you wanted to share.
Yeah, this one is kind of a bummer, but we can't ignore it because I do think it was one of the biggest national news stories of the last year. It's when the guy jumped over the judge's bench to attack the judge during his sentencing. And it's a sad story because this man not only he's diagnosed with schizophrenia, but he was also recently ordered to serve between 26 and 65 years in a Nevada prison for
Which
attacking
is more than most
judge.
murder charges, by the way.
Yeah,
and nobody
it's
was
nuts.
seriously injured in that case. Deobra Redden is his name.
Yeah, she was not. The judge was not hospitalized. That's Judge Mary Kay Holthus.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm sure everybody listening remembers this video. It's of a man launching himself over the bench and basically dragging the judge to the floor. It is super scary, but there's just like so many sad elements to this story. But that was everywhere because it is genuinely shocking to witness that happen.
Yeah, it made it to Saturday Night Live as a sketch, its own little sketch.
It did.
It's a sad story. The sentencing is sad, and nobody got hurt, thankfully, and he was facing some serious charges.
I mean, the judge was shook up and she was a little bruised, but nothing permanent, I don't think.
No,
Yeah.
and I say all of that to preface this. It was such an amazing aerial performance.
It was incredible.
Why it went viral. The jump, the launch, the full eagle over the bench.
Yep.
That's not easy to
Nobody
do.
stopped him. Everyone was too stunned. What's the point of these, like, police court officers,
Well, there's been a lot of internal discussions about it since then. I will say that I saw the pleading document where he got charged, and they used the word Superman repeatedly in the document, which I've never seen anything like that before.
It was a physical display, and all of the serious stuff aside, It's a very hilarious video to watch. And I think that, that definitely is why it went viral. And people could relate to possibly maybe jumping at authority.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody getting so provoked.
Yes.
Kip, that is what
Getting
I think
so
there is
provoked.
a certain schadenfreude there of like, we all have this desire to just choke authority sometimes in our life.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't believe where this conversation is
Come on.
going.
Like,
I am the biggest supporter of the Ober-Redden not getting a fair shake at any level here, but I also...
bad bosses.
Ooh.
Like, he acted out what we have all visualized at some point in our lives, for sure.
It's like the montages.
But not you, David, because
not
you're
me.
the best lawyer.
Well, I'm sure Kip has shown many films over at the Beverly Theater where you think somebody's doing something outrageous like that, and it just turns out to be a little fantasy moment. That's like a trope in a lot of very popular films. Yeah,
for sure.
Well, do you have a last moment, Kip, that you wanted to share as far as viral?
I'll just throw out two things because they're fun, and I think everyone will remember them. I'm going to throw out the monolith.
Oh, the monolith that showed up out of nowhere in the middle of the desert.
The monolith that showed up out of nowhere in the desert, and probably your first viral moment, Sarah. We talked about, I think, kicking the rocks. There's some natural disturbance attached to this because it ended up just being an artist who put a giant mirror column in the center of the desert, like 50 miles north of the Strip. And of course, we said aliens did it. And it came out and an artist did it. But it was a fun thing. So fun, in fact, that it came back around like 2 years later. And there's another monolith. And let's all freak out and say it's the aliens again. So that was a thing that was fun. And I would imagine it continues to appear every 2 years. I'll also say grasshoppers because grasshoppers was amazing when they invaded us.
Listen, as far as art, we've had some amazing viral art moments. I mean, there's also Desert Monkey King, which sort of appeared in the mountains in the Southwest. And then, of course, the giant Trump marionette in the desert to the north.
Amazing.
I can't believe that you both missed probably one of the bigger viral moments in the last year, which is the fellow who made it all the way to the top of the Sphere.
Oh, Sphere Climber.
The Sphere Climber. The man was on top of the Sphere like right after it opened, and that was a pretty big deal.
Full circle or full sphere back to men with no impulse control. That's where we started.
Yeah.
I just think of the 500 workers at Sphere looking up at that guy and like, we did that every day for 4 years. So
I am surprised that more people don't try to climb like they do in New York, the hotels here, but I'm guessing that there's a lot of security issues. The only one who actually is allowed to...
window cleaners.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about the one guy who was allowed to climb, which was Steve Wynn when he opened up the Encore. That was a big viral moment because he actually sat in the swoop of the roof of the Encore, some, whatever it is, like 48 stories high, over 650 feet in the sky, and he was up there.
That sounds awful.
Our buildings are tougher to get to. I think a lot of other cities, they're street side, they're sidewalk side. To try to navigate, you've got, in some cases, you could have 6 blocks from the Strip to the actual building. And then trying to navigate up that is probably a little bit tough. And of course, Carrot Top has the old joke about jumping off the Luxor, slid all the way down. Good joke for Carrot Top.
Well, if Carrot Top were to actually do that, I'm sure that moment would go quite viral. And that will wrap up this episode of CityCast Las Vegas. Hey, thank you both for sharing your viral moments, both in the past and in the immediate past.
My pleasure.
Thank you. See you guys on the internet.
Yeah.
And that is all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, go tell a friend. And if you have a viral moment of Vegas history that you think we missed out, feel free to send it in to us. We'll put our email and our phone number even in the show notes. You can also leave us a review wherever you hear this broadcast and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Till then, stay lucky.